Pump it up, pump it up.
Trae.
Come on, come on.
With Trae.
Pump it up, pump it up.
It's the day with Trae.
This is the day to gain inspiration, to make a positive change in the nation. We're inviting you to partake in conversation, to raise your vibration. It's the day that we will all celebrate all of our peeps that make this thing elevate. Watch the negative fade away, cause it's the day with Trae.
Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Oh my goodness, it is a terrific Tuesday because anytime I got my guest in the building with me, Jenefeness Franke is joining me today. And anytime she's here, you know it's going to be a terrific time. I'm really excited because we know her as this phenomenal finessing of finance, but we also now get to see more about her own personal journey as she is an author and just finished her book, Drawn to You. It is out, and I'm so excited to talk to her about this venture of her life. But I'm also excited to talk to you because you know it's the top of the show. So this is where I encourage you to go ahead and share this show with others who you feel could benefit from this daily dose of dopeness we work to give you here on the Day with Trae. And if you can't watch us, you can always listen to us anywhere you find your favorite podcast. Just search Converge Media Network and the Day with Trae, and you'll find us there. Now, before I get into it with Jenefeness, I'm gonna tell y'all something, that there is some major stuff happening right now when it comes to creativity. Y'all have been seeing me interview phenomenal folks that are doing creative works, but the beauty and the underlying theme that I have really been able to witness is stories are being told. So I'm so excited that Jenefeness decided, let me put my story in a form where others can learn from all of the things that I've gone through to get me to where I am today. But had she not done that, maybe we wouldn't even know the story, or only it would be that water cooler time where she can get you one-on-one, share a couple of anecdotes about this story with you. But she decided to go a step further and put this in book format for us to all experience. So what I'm inspired by before I even start talking to her is the fact that if you have that story within you, and I know I'm guilty of it, y'all, there's so many stories burning within me that I also want to bring out to light. But I'm encouraged by so many of the guests who have come here on the Day with Trae to not only share their stories, but also how they're amplifying and assisting others in getting their stories put on paper. That is like the first part, whether it's a screenplay, a playwright, whether it's for, a book, it doesn't matter. If you have that story and you're already sharing it anecdotally with your coworkers, your family, your neighbors, your kids, whatever, I'm encouraging you to get it on paper. Figure out if it is something greater. Is this a book? Is this a play? Is this a movie? Is this a film? Is this a documentary? Man, these works of art are exploding right now. And not only are they exploding, the avenues to share your work is exploding. That's one of the things that we get to benefit from in this technological era. Right? We have the ability to self-publish books and still get them out to the masses. We have the ability to go straight to consumer on a direct platform that lets people pay a small nominal fee for your screenplay, your documentary, your movie, whatever it may be. We have all of these amazing community theaters right now that are yearning for you to bring your plays to their playhouse. So I'll just tell you that if you do have that burning story within, now is the time. You don't got to get inspired after you hear about Jenefeness. You get to get inspired right now to figure out what is that story that I have, or I know exactly what that story is and I need to get it formulated. That's kind of where I'm at. So I'm just sharing that with y'all, hoping to inspire y'all to also share your stories. Well, after this short break, up next, we got Jenefeness Franke in the building, y'all. We're going to be learning all about her new book, Drawn to You. You definitely don't want to miss it. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
When I had my first child, I didn't really understand the impact of my using until I gave birth to him.
I worked in weapons department in the Navy. That's a work hard, play hard kind of place. It very much became apparent that I had a substance use disorder.
Nobody asked me if I was okay. It was just medications that were thrown at me for so many years.
I had some dental work done, and pain pills were introduced. It flipped a switch that I didn't see or know or understand.
The first time I recovered, my dad was the person, the rock. When he died, I had a severe relapse. It was one of the darkest times in my life because I had a taste of what recovery could feel like. A lot of shame came in.
And the grief about it was so huge that like I would have to drink to deal with what it felt like to be in my body.
I had lost the military career. I didn't have a place to stay. I was out of work. Seemingly overnight, I became a vehicle resident.
And that continued to kind of escalate my use, is being afraid to ask for help.
I tried multiple times to show up and be a parent to those kids, but I couldn't do the minimum. In my mind, they were safer where they were than they were with me.
It does. It takes a village of support. It takes a village of resources.
Getting all the things that kind of made me whole again happened because of the stabilization.
There is no part of my sobriety that would be possible if it wouldn't have been with help from others.
Every one of those people believed in my ability to live differently.
Each one of those people along my journey has contributed to my success.
Don't count us out.
More people recover with support.
Learn how you can help someone's recovery at supportaddictionrecovery.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Joining me right now is Jenefeness. Hey.
Hey, thank you for having me, Trae.
You know, anytime. Because you always have such positivity happening. So this is huge. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
This has been, you got to get us all the way to where we are today. I mean, what made you say, you know what, not only is this story something I got to get out, but I need to do it in book form. Tell us a bit about that process.
So I wrote my very first book in 2017. It was, it's called Broken Wife, Broken Life. It came after tragedy in my life that truly broke me, like had me, that's when I discovered I had PTSD, I discovered I had anxiety and even depression because of the trauma in my life. And so I wrote that book as a result of just trying to get it out. It was therapeutic for me. It started off just journaling, telling my story to my journal, not to the world. But then after allowing folks to read it, I was like, okay, I'm gonna just put it out there because folks knew half the story. I wanted them to know the whole story. So that was that book, 2017. And so as I'm speaking earlier this year, I actually read that book again. And I was like, I don't even feel like that anymore. I was like, I don't even think like that anymore. Because you know, when you're healed, you think differently, you see things differently. And so I was like, I need another book. And so this is really the sequel to that. Drawn to You is about what happened within that time span to get me to the healed woman I am today. And also the self-love that I have for myself today. Because back in the day, I was feeling a lot of guilt, a lot of shame. My ex-husband was a child molester. So just the traumatic, just the trauma that came from that, you know, the relationships that were broke down as a result of that. And just my own choices and the choices I made by staying with him, by getting back with him, by trying to love him through his disease, that really broke me down even more. But after that time period, I've just been kind of reframing what love looks like, what self-love looks like, what healing looks like, you know, healing myself. And then also being a coach, coaching women through their own traumas, different types of traumas. I be thinking my trauma is something, but when I hear other folks' trauma, I'm like, oh, okay. I guess mine is with a little t, because a lot of folks have really been through a lot, and just helping folks get to the level of loving yourself again, getting rid of the shame, getting rid of the guilt, getting rid of all of those negative feelings about yourself. And that's what this book is about.
Well, you know, I love how you say that too, because I didn't know that you had written the other book. So it's beautiful that you're like, no, I need y'all to understand all of the work in between these two areas of my life. And oftentimes there's so much resilience that I'm sure was in your first book. And to be able to build on that, to showcase the healing in terms of yourself being a healed person now, a healed woman out here, helping others is really special. What are some of those highlights that you think are really important in that you needed to include in this book?
I think it's really understanding what trauma does to our bodies, what trauma does to our brains. Sometimes we get into these patterns. We do the same thing as a response. It's a trauma response. And it's so automatic until we really sit back and say, you know what, why am I doing that? Why am I responding that way? Why do I even feel that way? Where does that come from? Does it come from society telling me that that's the way I should feel? Does it come from my aunties, my mommy, and the way that they dealt with different things? Does it come from really who I feel like I want to be? Because most times it doesn't. It comes from just the environment that we're in, right? And if we never get exposed to anything different, we'll continue those cycles and those patterns. And so for me, that's what I was doing. I mean, even to the point of staying with a man who was abusive. I talk about in the first book about domestic violence, literally like being beat upside my head and soaking a whole pillow with blood at one time. Yeah, horrible.
Wow.
Okay, I should have said trigger warning.
No,
right?
no. Hey,
Sorry.
it's real.
It's so real. It's so real. But sometimes it can hit people different ways, and I'm familiar with how certain things hit us and trigger us. But just getting through all of that trauma, understanding the woman I want to be, and the woman that deserves love.
Well, you were talking about reading that book again, and things kind of standing out to you. And you probably were already thinking, whoa, wait a minute, there's just so much that I have overcome. Some of those major moments in your life that helped you overcome. Tell us about some of those things that we may get in that book.
I think, for one, it was therapy. So many times we feel like, we have a stigma about therapy in our community. I think we're getting so much better than we used to be. I mean, we have so many folks doing trauma-informed coaching, trauma-informed therapy, and all the things. But for me, there was a time when I couldn't afford therapy. I didn't even know the benefits of it. But now, being in it for so long, that has really, truly changed me. Again, when you are healed, you see things differently. I feel like when I was going through my healing, and it's not like you're healed and it's done, right? It's a continuous thing. But as I go back and I read some of the things, I'm like, ooh, I definitely don't feel like that anymore. I was able to forgive my ex-husband and all the other folks around me, but it was so hard to forgive myself. And that's a place where I sat in. And I'm not saying that I don't deal with anxiety or depression, because I was just depressed a couple months ago, like really low. But I just continue to bring myself out of that by thinking more toward the future. Sometimes when we think about the past and even the situations we're in, it makes us go low, right? But if we can at least, look toward the hills from which cometh our help, and also look toward the future, which is so much brighter than where we might be right now, that has been super helpful for me.
Wow. Oh my goodness. I mean, when we talk about what it means to understand what your past circumstances were supposed to do for you in those moments, there's always, for me, something that stands out about, okay, well, why did I have to go through? Oh, okay. When I see this beautifully designed web, is how I love to look at our lives. There are these intersections of the points where these webs connect or they cross. And when that moment of whatever that is that brings two things together is always informative in some shape or fashion, right? And sometimes you don't understand what that information is or how powerful it actually is until years later. So I love being able to see this, like all of our lives are these amazingly, intricately designed webs. This is why I'm so inspired by spiders, y'all. I think the webs that they weave are just incredible.
They really are beautiful.
But when you think of, how you're using this now, how you want this to be used now, you talk about helping folks. We know that you are always there. You're doing a bunch when it comes to finances. So this is like another side of that.
It really
What are
is.
some of those ways that you want this work to be able to help people that you're encountering now?
I want folks to feel like, you know what, why not me? The seasons that we go through, the things that we go through, oftentimes we do that, woe is me. I did that, you know what I'm saying? But now I tend to think, why not me? I know if this happens to me, if this comes to me, I'm going to be a voice for other people because I know I'm not the only one. And for women who are reading the book Drawn to You is all about you and deepening your level of self-love, but also healing yourself. Oftentimes we're looking for someone else to attach to us, right? To make us whole. We have to be whole people in order to get into anything else. And so helping women to say, you know what, I'm more than enough. I don't have to shrink. And this book is specifically for high-powered Black women, because we are the ones that's out here feeling like, oh, I have to settle, I have to shrink, I have to do all of the things in order to attract the love that I deserve, when really you don't. You can be your whole, authentic, beautiful, bold self and still attract the love you deserve. And so that's what this book is all about. We talk about self-love, we talk about self-care, we talk about healing that is so necessary, but also being in your sacred garden place and enjoying that place, being able to radiate in that space and not feeling like, oh, because I'm here, nobody else can be here, having to compete with other folks, whether it be your mates or whether it be other women, right? But we should be able to be whole and complete and complementary, even in our space, in whatever space we're in. Take up space, sis. I love that song.
Yeah. Well, you know, you talk about there's moments of time where you get to realize I don't have to adjust in any way to attract that love that is for me. Tell us about what that looked like for you, which I'm sure you probably explore in the book.
Absolutely, I do. And one of the things is understanding my trauma, understanding that I shrank so many times to be in relationships. I settled. I did all of the things. And so I started to look at, why did I do that? Why was I not enough by myself? And so I had to identify and increase my own self-love, love Jenefeness, the whole Jenefeness, and understand that, you know what, the right person for me is going to love me for me. They're not going to try to change me. They're not going to try to make me shrink because I'm too big or too bold for them. I have a bold personality, but the man that loves me and deserves me, the man that I'm with, he loves me for who I am. He doesn't feel like I need to shrink. And if he did, it probably wouldn't have worked out. But I tested him, right? So there's a period of testing. And that's one of the chapters in the book. It's called Testing Before Investing, right? You test them. You help them understand. Don't show up as a representative. Show up as yourself wholeheartedly the first time. Because if they fall in love with the true you, then you can continue to be yourself. But if they fall in love with your representative, then you have to keep switching it up and being somebody else every single time they come around, which that's how we ended up being somebody we're not. We end up getting lost in the people we're with and the relationships we're in because we have shed off so much of ourselves to where we're like, and when you go through divorce, oh my goodness, you have to rebuild yourself. Your relationships, the people you're around, you know, a lot of things fell off for me, especially the way that I've been divorced twice. But my second divorce and it being so trauma-filled, every relationship was gone. I moved here right after that. That's when I moved to Washington, all the way across the country because I had to restart. I had to rebuild. And since I've been here, I've been able to do that.
Yeah, no, you've done it in a tremendous way. Such a pillar in the community. And just thank you for everything you're doing and for putting your healing and all of the work that you've done in a book that we can all learn from. Of course, if folks are trying to tap in, get this book and get this knowledge, look right there, let them know how they do so.
Yes, so definitely. The book is called Drawn to You. It's a manifesting love through faith, vision, and feminine energy. I could talk about feminine energy forever, but you can get the book at jenefeness.com, definitely. And we want you to write a review on all of the places that you write reviews. So definitely get the book. This is what it looks like. Super excited about it. In addition to the book, we have these Sacred Garden alignment cards. So I definitely want you to pick one and see if it resonates with you at this point in your life.
Ooh, here it is. Oh, I don't have to shrink to be safe. You were just talking about that. Reclaim. It says, you will not edit your essence. Don't apologize for your light. Where am I dimming my light to lift? Ooh. Y'all, wait a minute. This is powerful.
It's a journal prompt.
Yeah, because ultimately, I think, you know, when you were just talking about this very concept, people don't realize they're doing it sometimes until a long time has passed. And I had a similar like spark in my life where I was like, oh, wait, if I can't do all of this, then the choice I have is I have to shed some of this. And I didn't realize I had already been shedding it. And been just like dealing with my day to day. So thank you.
You're welcome.
So now are these two separate purchases?
They're two separate purchases. That's for you though.
Oh, thank you.
That's for you to keep.
Yes.
But one of the things I talk about in the book is we as Black women, I got this from the post-traumatic slave syndrome with Dr. Joy DeGruy, how she talks about we sacrifice so much to be in relationship, and how that came from the post-traumatic slave syndrome. Like, we had to fake it till we make it. We couldn't let them see that we were in love. We couldn't let them see that we were pregnant. We couldn't let them see any of those things. So we have learned struggle love. That's epigenetics. That's been in our bodies forever. And so we continue that thing until we get to a place where we're like, you know what? I don't have to struggle to love someone. I don't have to be in a relationship with what I call ghetto love, because that's what I was in. I don't have to be in all of those things. I can just be happy and be free and be true to myself and not have to think about the things that our ancestors, we can honor our ancestors in other ways. And I talk about that a lot in the book.
Well, I'm really grateful for you, because I think there definitely needs to be this awakening of what does it look like for me to be healed? What version of myself do I want to see? And how do I get there? So thank you so much for this work.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I need
got
to get,
you.
Okay.
I got
I'm like,
you.
I see
This
the
is
book.
yours. This
I'm
is
excited.
yours.
No, because I'm excited to read it and leave you a review. I think it's so
Absolutely.
important for us to support the great works of our own community.
Yes.
So thank you for putting it out
You're
there.
welcome.
And for getting me one.
I got you. I got you.
Oh, anytime you need to give us some information or shine a light on anything you're doing, you know we're here for you.
Yes, I
anytime.
appreciate you. I appreciate this dose of dopeness.
Yes.
With Day with Trae.
Yes. Wow, y'all, what a powerful Tuesday episode. Of course, I get to wrap up all of this power and reclamation right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Empowering the community one connection at a time. ConnectWise is your partner in finding the support you need. Download the app today and experience the difference that a connected community can make. Learn more at eec-wa.org/connectwa-app. In Seattle, it's more than just coffee. It's community. At the station, we brew more than just your favorite cup. We brew connection. From Beacon Hill to Columbia City, we're a space for artists, activists, and everyone in between. A place to gather, create, and simply be. Whether you need a quiet place to work, a lively spot to meet friends, or just a moment to unwind, find your place at the station. More than coffee, it's home. Visit us in Beacon Hill or Columbia City. The Station, where community happens. Black caregivers, entrepreneurs, and elders, this one's for you. Queen Care is offering complimentary self-care services to those who give so much to their communities. Take a moment to restore, recharge, and be cared for with free wellness treatments at the Spa House by Queen Care. Spots are limited, so don't wait. Go to queencareproducts.com now to sign up, or scan the QR code on your screen, because you deserve the same care you give to others.
Wow, welcome back, y'all, to The Day with Trae. I'm just truly grateful right now on this Tuesday. It is already feeling beyond terrific. And huge shout out to my guest today, Jenefeness Franke, for sharing her story and writing it down in a format we can all receive. Make sure y'all go to jenefeness.com. Get this book drawn to you. If you heard this interview and it resonated with you in a way where you said, I'm tired, I need to figure it out for myself, this is the spark you needed to dig deep inside. And this book could help you figure out, where are you on this spectrum of healing, of reclaiming your whole self, of understanding your specific customized wellness plan that was designed specifically for you. This is the time for us to be intentional about how we're healing ourselves, how we're understanding how all of our experiences are there for a purpose, and we get to dive in and fine tune our understanding of ourselves by doing this work. So huge shout out to her for putting this book together so we can all learn from it. Y'all know I want you to be inspired. You too can find your way to be a part of the solution, as Jenefeness has shown us today. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back with y'all tomorrow. Until then, at 11 a.m., y'all. Peace. Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents.
Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.